Good evening, hello and welcome. You're watching Brass Tacks. I'm Anusha Soni. Union Home Minister Amit Shah has launched a stinging attack on the Congress party. Reminding the Congress party of the Sohrabuddin Sheikh encounter case, the Home Minister argued that he was being framed in the case by the Congress and pressure was put on him by the CBI to name then Gujarat Chief Minister Narendra Modi as the key accused in the case. Well, with this attack, the BJP has hit back once again at the principal opposition party Congress. The narrative has a crucial role and importance in the run-up to the 2024. The Congress party, of course, has rubbished all these charges and said that they are without any substance and basis. With over 14 opposition parties moving the Supreme Court of India over the alleged misuse of central agencies, will this narrative be the dominating theme in the run-up to 2024 elections? Will the opposition be able to score with the voters with their democracy is dead narrative? Or will the Modi magic once again trump all? Our focus on Brass Tacks tonight.
90% सवालों में यही था कि काहे को परेशान हो रहे हो, मोदी का नाम दे दो, आपको छोड़ देंगे। मोदी जी के खिलाफ SIT
A sensational disclosure by Home Minister Amit Shah. Speaking at News18 Network's Rising India Summit, Shah countered the opposition's charge that the Modi government is misusing central agencies to target them. For the first time ever, Shah recalled the Sohrabuddin Sheikh encounter case filed against him when he was the Home Minister in Gujarat.
दुरुपयोग कैसे होता है, मैं उसका भुक्तभोगी हूं। हमारे खिलाफ कोई भ्रष्टाचार का केस कांग्रेस ने नहीं किया था। एक एनकाउंटर हुआ था, उसमें मैं राज्य का गृह मंत्री था, मुझ पर केस कर दिया और CBI ने मुझे अरेस्ट किया।
Shah alleged that during the entire interrogation, he was told to give Modi's name and to frame him.
90% सवालों में यही था कि काहे को परेशान हो रहे हो, मोदी का नाम दे दो, आपको छोड़ देंगे। पूरी मेरी इंट्रोगेशन में एक ही बात, मोदी का नाम दे दो, मोदी का नाम दे दो, मोदी का। भाई क्यों डरते हो मोदी से, क्यों फंसाना चाहते हो?
Citing his own case, Amit Shah took a swipe at the opposition's black protest.
हमने तो काले कपड़े नहीं पहने, कोई विरोध नहीं किया जी। मोदी जी के खिलाफ SIT बनाई, एक राज्य के मुख्यमंत्री के, कोई करप्शन का केस नहीं था। ये मैं कांग्रेस के मित्रों को कहना चाहता हूं, एक उंगली किसी के खिलाफ करोगे तो 4 उंगली आपके खिलाफ आती है, ध्यान रखना। मोदी जी के खिलाफ SIT बनाई, एक राज्य के मुख्यमंत्री के, कोई करप्शन का केस नहीं था।
The opposition dismissed Shah's remarks.
Every action is being shown on a vindictive politics.
Amit Shah got scared of losing power.
So has Home Minister Amit Shah shown the mirror to the opposition?
So, well, what is this Sohrabuddin Sheikh encounter case and why was Amit Shah arrested for it earlier? Let's take you back in time. In November 2005, Sohrabuddin was travelling with his wife Kausar from Hyderabad to Sangli in Maharashtra. Halfway through, the anti-terror squad of the Gujarat police stopped the bus and took them away. The couple was kept locked at a farmhouse outside Ahmedabad. A few days later, a police team led by ATS Chief DG Vanzara took away Sohrabuddin and allegedly killed him. They claimed he was a terrorist trying to attack then Gujarat Chief Minister Narendra Modi. His wife, Kausar went missing and the Gujarat government later said that she had been killed and her body has been burnt. A year later, in December 2006, Sohrabuddin's partner in crime, Tulsiram Prajapati, was also killed by the Gujarat police in an encounter that took place in Banaskantha. Now, Sohrabuddin Sheikh's family approached the Supreme Court, following which the case was handed over to CBI in 2010. It was the intervention of the Apex Court that led to the central agency stepping in to the matter. Now, the agency sent 2 summons to Amit Shah, but he did not appear. Talking about those times, the CBI filed a charge sheet against Amit Shah and 37 others, accusing them of murder, extortion, kidnapping for the killing of Sohrabuddin and his wife Kausar. On the 25th of July 2010, Shah drove to the office of the CBI, surrendered, and then he was officially arrested. And he was then taken to Sabarmati jail in Ahmedabad. That's the trajectory of the case as it followed. In October, Amit Shah was granted bail by the Gujarat High Court. In September 2012, the Supreme Court transferred the case from Gujarat to Mumbai in order to ensure there is a fair trial in the matter. And in December 2014, a special CBI court in Mumbai discharged Shah and others from this case. Now, while discharging Amit Shah and the others in this case, this is what the CBI Special Court had said in that crucial judgment. The court went on to say that there was substance found in the main contention that was made by Amit Shah, that the charges against him were fabricated and politically motivated, a key defense that he had taken in this case. The court further said that the inference that was drawn by the CBI was not accepted in totality. It was further argued that Shah can't be charged as an accused in the case because there was no substantial evidence to prove those crimes and those accusations. The court further said that Shah was dragged into the case by CBI for political reasons. The agency was pulled up mostly for relying on evidence which is hearsay in nature and cannot be the substantial or core reason to convict anyone. The court further said that the probe was restricted to certain call data records and that all of them were not collected, and that was not enough. The court further said that the statement made by the relatives of Sohrabuddin Sheikh do not implicate Amit Shah in the case because there was no direct testimony that had come in. Well, let's take this question to our guest as well. Once again, this debate is out there. The misuse of central agencies, the moot point here. Joining us on the broadcast is Shazia Almi of the BJP, Supriya Srinath of the Congress party is also with us on the broadcast, Varun Singh, who's a political analyst, and Arvind Kumar Jain, who's the former DGP of Uttar Pradesh, is also with us on the show. Good evening to all of you. Supriya ji, I must come to you first. This is a direct attack that the Home Minister has made on the Congress party. I think the moot point here that he's making is that Congress party is guilty of misusing the central agencies and they have no moral right to raise this question before a court of law and in the public domain. Your response, ma'am.
So truth be told, I haven't heard that. I've only heard the part which has been broadcasted several times on which our reactions were sought for. But truth be told, I'm actually very surprised with Mr. Shah's intervention on whatever he said. I heard the part which you're referring to. He's been Home Minister now for 4 years. He's had a government in the center now for 9 years. If at all this happened, why did he keep quiet? He had a government in Gujarat. Why did he keep quiet? The reality is that the BJP is being saddled with charges of misusing agencies and making them and turning them into frontals of the BJP, and which is why this sort of a response comes. If you are not rattled, answer just one question. Why were you quiet all along? You had a government in Gujarat, you've been in power for 9 years, why now? And as the Home Minister of this country, should you be making an irresponsible, unsubstantiated statement like this? Because furnish us proof, you're now in power, you have access to everything in CBI. The reality is that the BJP in all its forms, in all its forums and in all its platforms is out there to defend swindlers, money launderers, people who have fled this country and Gautam Adani. They have nothing to answer as far as issues of the country is concerned. This is yet another distracting ploy. I want to ask Amit Shah, as Union Home Minister for this country, do you have a shred of proof to substantiate what you are saying? You've been in power for 9 years. Why are you talking about this now?
Supriya, I'm going to take that question to Shazia Almi. She's with us on the broadcast. I'll take that question. I'll take that question to Shazia. I want to understand. One second. No speaking over each other, please. Shazia ji, give me 1 minute. Shazia ji, give me 1 minute. Supriya, I have a follow-up question. One second. Supriya ji, I have a follow-up question. How is the allegation of the opposition party any more substantiated when they talk about the misuse of the central agencies? The argument is that these are cases in a court of law.
Simple.
One second. These are cases in a court of law. And if there is no substance to arrest anyone or to put somebody in an FIR, the court should grant you bail and set you free. The courts are not doing it. That means prima facie there is evidence. So how is your allegation any more substantiated than the BJP's?
I will tell you how. Because there has been a 4-fold increase in ED, which is now directly under the Home Ministry since 2014. A 4-fold increase in number of cases. 95% of those cases are against India's opposition. Cases against people like Hemanta Biswa Sarma, Narayan Rane, Subhendu Adhikari, Yeddi have all gone. There are no cases against them because they went and joined the BJP. That's point number one. And point number two, I want to tell you, most of the places where they want to substantiate the opposition, where they want to suppress free and independent voices, they do a reversed engineering process, like the one that they did with Rahul Gandhi. They wanted his membership to be cancelled. They went shopping for a dormant case. They found one, and that is exactly what they have done. They really believe that this will silence people in this country. The people of this country will teach you a lesson.
Shazia ji, many questions have been raised here. Can we come to the moot point? Can we come to the moot point? There is a question that the Congress party has raised. The Congress party is asking that you've been in power for about 8 to 9 years now. Why haven't all these things been substantiated in the public domain? Why is it merely an allegation at this point in time? Respond to that.
No, because it was an allegation and a fake one at that, which is why Amit Shah ji got exonerated. Because whether it was Chidambaram and his coinage of the word saffron terror, which is why, see what happened at the Jaipur blast. They did not have a shred of evidence because they had nothing but charges and conspiracies and the need to be vindictive. They've tried to plant all of these, just like they've been doing with Rafale, with Pegasus, and now with Adani, knowing very well that Adani became who he is thanks to Rajiv Gandhi. So instead of Rahul Gandhi asking the question that what is Adani to Modi ji, he should ask what was Adani ji to Rajiv Gandhi ji. That is a question that Rahul Gandhi needs to ask of his own party. The fact of the matter is 1988 and then 95, even before Adani Enterprises was made, where there's a Mundra port and all the licenses, PVC is where the whole story began. Though that licensing and opening up was given by Rajiv Gandhi. But I won't even go there on any of these. Whether it's the parliamentary democracy is in danger, the various institutions are imperiled. There is no shred of evidence. Just this huffing and puffing and these big words being thrown in, knowing very well that there are no takers for this kind of for Rahul Gandhi, which is why they're going all over the countryside and now outside and screaming helter skelter, even imperiling India's sovereignty by talking about the kind of things they're doing. Only because there's no evidence.
I come back to the crucial statement that the Union Home Minister has made. Shazia ji, I have a follow-up question. Let's take your charge and an accusation on the face value. Let's take your charge and the accusation on the face value for the sake of the argument that the Congress party misused the central agency.
Rahul Gandhi is scared to go to the courts. Rahul Gandhi is scared to go to the courts. He's going all over, knowing very well that neither does he have any face to go to the courts because he has been rapped on the knuckles not once but many times by different courts. Remember the matter of the
we'll come to those aspects as well. Shazia ji, I have a follow-up question. Let's take your argument on the face value for the sake of the argument that Congress, when they were in power, misused the central agencies. But there are 14 opposition parties that have gone before the Supreme Court in a petition. So it's no more just an argument that they're making in the political narrative, charging the government for misuse of central agencies. In many ways, this is unprecedented. Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, I want to answer that. So so if you're corrupt and the agencies are after you, then agencies are doing a good job. And Supriya Srinath knows very well, my friend from the Congress, that she represents the most corrupt party, which has really ruined and looted and plundered our country and all its resources many times over. The last 9 years, properties worth 1,10,000 crores have been seized under PMLA. In the last 9 years, look at this record. This is all, and this is 35,000 more effective ED has been. Why? Because this government was serious about cracking corruption. So if you're going to be corrupt, and if you're going to bond on the issue of corruption,
there
will be no takers because not one charge.
Supriya ji, before you answer what Shazia has said on Rahul Gandhi and various other things about the Congress party, I'm actually very curious to know that why has Rahul Gandhi not moved a court of law so far against that decision of the magistrate court?
So before I answer that, I want to say something here. They have been in power for 9 years. You do not have one conviction by the agencies under your belt. So stop harassing the people of this country. Stop harassing and intimidating the opposition because all you have. I did not speak while you were talking. Please don't talk in
Shazia ji, let her finish her argument. Shazia ji, let her finish her argument. Let her finish her argument. I'll come back to you. Shazia ji, I'll give you the chance to respond. Please, one at a time. One at a time, please. One at a time, please. Shazia ji, my request. Please don't speak over each other.
You don't know this much? Shame on you.
All right, no personal comments, please. Supriya ji, please go ahead.
No,
Make your
shameful
argument.
that she doesn't know this.
Let her
about
make her
Rahul
argument, then
Gandhi.
you respond, Shazia ji. Let her
Do you
make
know
her
about the
argument.
Constitution?
Let her make her argument. Supriya ji, please go ahead.
Anusha, one more word and you can do the show with her. This is not how I do debates.
Please go ahead,
I did
Supriya
not
ji.
speak a word while she was rattling off lies. She might as well keep quiet. If she can't keep quiet, you put her fader down, because that's not how I debate. If this is how it's going to be, you can do a debate with her. You're at liberty too.
Please go ahead, Supriya.
9 years in power, not a single conviction by any agency. Not one. 0.5% and under the rate of conviction by ED directly under Amit Shah. That's your track record. That's your report card. That's your reality. To answer your question directly, when will Mr. Rahul Gandhi go to court? Which court is he going to? What submission is he going to make? Is a decision that rests best with the Congress party and Mr. Rahul Gandhi's legal team. I don't think the BJP can raise questions from its forums and then the media keeps asking these questions of us. I think some decisions are best left to us. We are the best suited people to decide when will we move court, which court will we go to, what are we going to tell the courts, because truth be told, Ranusha, and please indulge me for 10 seconds, this is a reversed engineered decision that was taken. Mr. Modi was helter-skelter scared that Mr. Gandhi is going to make one more speech on Adani and all his mask, all the brand building about Mr. Modi is coming off in any case. He could not afford Mr. Gandhi in the house, so they went shopping for a dormant case where a stay application was put by the petitioner. The stay application was withdrawn 9 days after he made the speech on Adani in Parliament on the 16th of February. 8 dates, fast track case, they gave a judgment. This is unprecedented in India's judicial system to get 2 years imprisonment for a case which involves alleged private criminal defamation case. What are you talking about? And you do not waste 24 hours before disqualifying him. That sentence was suspended for 30 days. That's their reality. That's who they are. But they cannot corner us because we are absolutely certain that any court in this land is going to give us respite, and it's going to be our decision, not a decision that either the media or the BJP can
No,
make for
you're
us.
absolutely right. Let me agree with you on 2 points, Supriya ji. You're right that it's unprecedented that for a criminal defamation, a 2-year sentence in a high-profile case of this nature has been made, and the manner in which the disqualification happened. I also agree with you that the trajectory of this entire case and how the trial happened, there are some pertinent points that can be raised before a higher court. Isn't that the entire substance of the case? That was the substance of my question, that if you have so many pertinent grounds, and if there was one more speech that your leader could have made that could have rattled the BJP so much more, why not protect his MP-ship? Why not go to a higher court and get a stay?
I like the fact that because you cover courts and because you have a good inkling of law, you know exactly what this case is about. So you're one of the first few people I will congratulate on air for at least knowing the loopholes in this case. But again, I say, with all due respect to your prowess in law, that decision has to be made by us. We and Rahul Gandhi's legal team will decide when and which court and if at all we will move to. It is not going to be a decision that Ravi Shankar Prasad is going to ask in a press conference and then that gets resonated. The number of people from the BJP who are calling up to ask when are you moving court is astounding. Why is the BJP so worried? You wanted to disqualify him, you have. So
I have two gentlemen, Varun Singh and Arun Kumar Jain. They've been waiting very patiently. Shazia ji, a quick response from you, then I'll go to Varun Singh.
So,
yes.
So, I don't want to say too much, so just give me 10 seconds. First of all, please inform your viewers, because again, I think some misunderstanding about a constitution and about how government works is being bandied around. It is the courts who pronounce the conviction. What does ED do and CBI do the investigation? So please tell them that ED cannot and BJP cannot pronounce and can be responsible for conviction or the lack of it. They can at most do, and not BJP, the agencies. And if all the assets have been seized and worth 1,10,000 crores, then these are not
laughable arguments. Thank God you're not a lawyer.
Two, if they want to throw Rahul Gandhi under the bus and are scared to go to the court, then don't call it the BJP's atrocity against this thing. It is their own atrocity against their own leader who they have lost faith in. who they feel will do better as a disqualified MP, as a victim, because clearly
Shazia,
has
are you
no
under influence of
wherewithal
any
or
medicine or
any
something? You're
message.
talking absolutely nonsensical
That is
arguments.
your apologetic
Are you all
note, no
right?
leader. It's not
Are you
my
all right?
fault.
I'm just as a friend
Stop
asking
blaming
you.
BJP.
Are you all right?
Stop blaming
Is everything all
BJP.
right
If
mentally?
you're
Because you're
apologetic
speaking some
about your leader, it's
absolute
not my
gibberish.
problem either.
My duty to ask
And
as a
force
fellow
we denounce
panelist, is
elections,
everything all right with
not
you?
eating.
Just
You must
asking out
know
of
this much.
concern.
All
Are
right.
you mentally all right this evening?
All right, all right.
Are you all right
I
this
need to
evening?
bring
That's
in
all
other
that I want to
panelists
know.
also into the
Because
discussion.
the kind of
Varun,
argument you're making doesn't sound
we've
like
had a
mental
heated
fatigue.
debate. You've heard the BJP, you've heard the Congress. I want to talk about the political narrative. The misuse of the central agencies is a moot point that the opposition parties, including the Congress party, is raising, not just in the public domain, also before the Supreme Court of India. This looks like one of the key issues that will dominate the political discourse in the run-up to 2024. Varun.
Two things. First, ED doesn't come under the Home Ministry. ED comes under the Ministry of Finance.
Yes.
And there has been more than 23 convictions by ED only, if I have to talk, since 2014 till date. As a ex-journalist, I was expecting my fellow panelist, who just called my fellow panelist whether she's mentally ill or mentally well. I'm like, this kind of debate I had never expected at any show. But finally, talking about what political narrative is being said, there are many things.
Go ahead
Ma'am,
and
let
paint
me-
the color saffron.
All
Ma'am,
right,
let me-
Varunji, please go
Ma'am,
ahead.
let
One at a
me-
time. One
Thank
at a
you,
time.
no, thank you. I don't need a certificate from you.
Varun Singh, please. Varun Singh,
Thank
please.
you. Even I don't
need a
need a
certificate from
certificate.
you, Mr. Varun.
No one on earth needs a certificate from someone who doesn't even know ED belongs to Ministry of Finance, but not Home Ministry, and an ex-journalist. Sorry, you are no one to give a certificate. And talking about political narrative being set, absolutely. Since in 2013, it was the Supreme Court that said that CBI is a caged parrot. And it is a known fact that any party which is in power wants to use every machinery available to them for their benefit. So if today Amit Shah is saying something, while, if someone wants us to believe, or everyone has to believe, that 14 parties have gone to the court claiming that there is a misuse of power by all these agencies, at that same point, when we are taking their word, we need to take Amit Shah's word. It is merely a word which cannot be proven. Everyone knows that these things cannot be proven. What happens behind, or what happens in a confession room, nothing can be proven on record. If he has certain evidences, he may come up with, and he may show it to the country. Right now, the question over here is, in the run-up to 2024, we will see many such allegations coming from both the sides, for a very simple reason. Because the fight, we need to realize that the fight is for power. The Congress has been out of power for almost 10 years now. There is no way that we see them coming back. Rahul Gandhi has lost his MPship, and we see the Congress, which has a battery of lawyers, couldn't even visit the court. They were asking dates at Surat court, and that is the biggest problem. They were not prepared. When BJP used to lose elections earlier, there was something that Atal Bihari used to say, Chintan Shivir. I think the Congress needs it right now, so that they can decide, they can discuss what's going on.
Varun,
wrong,
I take off from that point that you made, that these things cannot be proven. And I'm actually quite curious that when you go to the apex court of the country and you say that central agencies are being misused, how will that really be proven in a court of law? All eyes on that very important hearing. Mr. Arvind Kumar Jain, I want to come to you. You've heard that at the heart of it is the allegation of the misuse of the central agency. You have the Union Home Minister who has made a very stinging allegation that he was put under pressure to name somebody, to name then Chief Minister of Gujarat, Narendra Modi, as the key accused in the Sohrabuddin encounter case. The fact that there is already a judgment that has come in from the court, does it also in some way substantiate the allegations that have been made by the Home Minister that there was no substance to this case? Because in the court order, there are certain findings that the judge talks about, that prima facie, it seems that there was a political reason why Mr. Shah was framed. Mr. Jain.
Yes, I have also read that judgment. That was very important judgment, and judge has been very categorical about it. And if somebody is being pressurized as Home Minister of the state to name Chief Minister that he was responsible for the encounter, it is not to be believed at all. I have put in 37 years of service in IPS in UP, and hundreds of encounters have taken place in UP. But we never get directions from Chief Minister or from Home Minister to liquidate some person. It is not done. Decision is taken locally. It's a very sensitive decision, and whether you fire at a person or the person fires at you, it all depends in the heat of the moment. You can't go and ask a chief minister or home minister. Yes, I have put in 37 years of service, and right from the beginning, right from 79, I have been hearing these allegations that the state police is being misused, crime branch of the state is being misused, CBI is being misused by the party in power. It has been happening. Some allegations might be correct, some allegations might be false, but these allegations have always existed, and that's why there was a judgment of 5 judges of Supreme Court in Prakash Singh case that all such agencies and appointments should be by a board, and they should be done by the laid down procedure, by the laid down procedure of Supreme Court. But several states are not following it. They are using police. They are using agencies for their own benefit. It is also correct.
Yeah. Supriya ji, I want to move to the second limb of the debate. There are various statements that have been made, not just by Union Home Minister Amit Shah, who spoke at the Rising India platform, but we had the likes of Mr. Anurag Thakur also speaking in. This is being called, the opposition parties and their unity is being called a coalition of the corrupt, which is scared because the law is catching up to them. And you're not going to the courts of law to secure any kind of remedy or relief, but merely making a hue and cry for your own political benefits. The fact that Mr. Gandhi has not gone to the court is a testament to the fact that you have nothing in law to argue. That was being said today. Supriya ji.
I don't want to offend you, and I hope I won't, but there are certain gold standards of journalism that Network 18 is certainly putting to fore. You have a summit, a political summit. How many opposition leaders were invited for this? How many sessions did you do with opposition leaders?
Well, Supriya ji, without any offense, invitations were sent to everyone, and it is up to the discretion of you and your parties whether somebody comes or not. But please go ahead, ma'am.
No, actually, no. No, you must check, because I have checked with your editors and no invitations were not sent. But I'm just putting it on record here. You have a Rising India Summit, and not one person from a collective opposition, which reflects more votes than Mr. Modi himself, is present. Another gold standard of journalism, I want to point to you on your show right here.
Sure.
Here is a gentleman who you label as political analyst. Let me finish, please. He lauds Mr. Yogi's UP Raj. He's constantly calling Mr. Modi Arbo ke Masiha hai. What sort of political analysis is this when you have absolutely ideological aligned people with the BJP sitting here and giving down? Please don't speak in between. I did not interrupt. Have the courage of your voice and your conviction to speak when it is your turn. To answer your question, if India's opposition is all corrupt, I only want to ask Mr. Modi, then why does he use the floodgates of his agencies, money, power, all kinds of things to either topple democratically elected governments, or he takes them with open arms? Today, a Hemanta Biswa Sarma is squeaky clean. Today, a Narayan Rane is squeaky clean. Today, a Suvendu Adhikari is squeaky clean. Why? Because they've joined the BJP. Because the gallery of the corrupt is actually there. And I will take 30 seconds to tell you something very important. The Karnataka elections are going to be a referendum on the corrupt government that the BJP is running right under the nose of the Prime Minister. The Contractor Association has written to him thrice about 40% commission that they are made to pay. Santosh Patil, one of their workers, committed suicide and wrote to Mr. Modi that they are charging 40% commission even from me. Not a word. Can somebody tell me that the MLA's son was caught with 40 lakhs bribe? This is in a case where his father was a minister in the sandalwood department, the soap and sandal department, and no ED, no CBI against him. Why? I simply want to ask that if you join the BJP, aapne Ganga nahali, और बाकी सब corrupt है. Actually, Mr. Modi is flabbergasted because his best friend, Gautam Adani, is saddled with charges of corruption. He is saddled with charges of political patronage. He is actually blamed for money laundering, ill-treating the stocks, Benami money flowing in through a web of shell companies. What
Okay.
is happening to all of that? Where are your agencies?
I-
Where is ED? Where is CBI? Where is Director of
Before
Federal Reserve? Where is
Shazia,
SEBI?
before
Where is-
Shazia,
what are they doing?
before Shazia comes in to respond, Supriya ji, two points that I want to make. A, as I said earlier, that Network 18 and this platform is as much for the ruling dispensation as it is for the opposition parties, and that's the reason why it's always a pleasure to have you
Not your
on our
summit for sure.
ma'am, let me speak on our shows
Not
and
your
have your
summit
views.
for sure.
And secondly, Varun Singh, a political analyst, we also have a lot of political analysts on the show who talk in favor of the Congress party and the opposition leaders, and then their stature as
Make
a
a
political
disclaimer.
then their
Make a
stature
disclaimer.
then
It's
their
absolutely
stature
fair to make a
as a
disclaimer.
political analyst is not
Make a
questioned. So
disclaimer.
2 points that I want to make.
Make
Coming
a
back
disclaimer.
to the
I've
debate,
been to
Shazia
shows
ji.
where disclaimers have been made.
Shazia ji,
Why
coming
don't
back
you
to the
make a
debate.
disclaimer?
Why
My
is
audio
it?
gone, please
Why
fix
is
my
it?
audio.
Why is it that only
Make
the
a
opposition
disclaimer. My audio
parties
is
are
gone in
being?
case मेरा audio नहीं आ रहा है.
Why is it that the opposition parties are the only ones which are targeted? This is a question that has been often asked in the public domain, that till the time you are in the opposition camp, you are under the radar. But the moment you switch sides and go to the BJP, you're all clean, everything is fine. Is this one-way street? Is this justice of only one nature which suits certain political interests? Shazia ji.
Again, so see, just screaming out the same thing every day will not make it the truth. The fact of the matter is that Lalu Prasad Yadav a long time back, and that was not on the when BJP was in power. All the cases have been going on against all these leaders for the longest period. As for Aam Aadmi Party, a National Herald case, if you see how 5 lakhs became 800 crores and how the PIL was filed, it is there. The court found it worthy of the prosecution and investigation, which is why Sonia Gandhi ji and Rahul Gandhi find themselves on bail. So the fact of the matter is that these cases have been going on for the longest period. One. Two, it is the ED that is whose job is to investigate, and not the job of ED also to prosecute. And Congress has also been beneficiary of judgment favoring them by the same courts. So when you run away and do not show up at the courts and keep on screaming and shouting and running helter-skelter, it goes on to show that that you don't have much to offer for yourself in terms of solid legal defense. To look at each of the cases. I mean, you mentioned some names. No, nobody's saying that the cases will go away against them. No, they have not been dismissed. Suvendu Adhikari's matter is different because he actually turned approver and informer, but about other matters that have about corruption charges, they are there. In the matter of prosecution,
Shazia ji, I'd rather have a question that the Congress. Yeah, please finish your point.
Vikram Singh Sehni or Kuldeep Singh Sengar, both of them are BJP MLAs who have been disqualified, sitting MLAs. The same law has prosecuted and worked against them. The minute they were found, they had a conviction against them. They were disqualified. And Jayalalitha went through the same thing. So what is so special about Rahul Gandhi? You know that. So I don't know, this whole sense of entitlement that comes with this party, and also certain family of this party. This is actually beyond redemption, according to me.
But Shazia ji, can these statements be substantiated, that an ex-person was put under pressure to name Y person? Can all of these be really substantiated in the public domain? That's what the Congress party is saying, because like what they've been saying so far, and you've been calling it hearsay, they're doing the same thing to you right now, saying it's mere hearsay. Where is the evidence?
No. In terms of, I'll tell you why. On Rafale, on Pegasus, on Chowkidar Chore, the court
has the moral courage to do that.
And let me tell you, on the Adani matter, it is the Supreme Court. No less than the Supreme Court monitored panel which is looking into it, the findings of which will be out very soon.
About the courts. No.
And not just that. And not just that. No. Let me go up. Let's not just conflate everything and have something.
Nothing about courts, madam.
The in matters of corruption, this is the first time in Indian government that there are no charges against the Prime Minister or any of his cabinet ministers. This is the first time, and I know I work on corruption.
There are charges against the Prime Minister. Why is he protecting a swindler like Adani?
Shazia ji, 30 seconds to you, and then Supriya, I'll come to you. Shazia ji, 30 seconds to you.
And it is, and by the way, it is all the people who are supporting Rahul Gandhi at this point of time, including Kejriwal, was the one talking about Lalu Prasad Yadav's corruption and corruption of Rahul, of Supriya.
So, Supriya ji, the case against Lalu Prasad Yadav and various other politicians in the opposition camp was in fact registered by the CBI when the UPA government was in power. It is not done by the present government or the earlier government. That's what the BJP is saying.
I first want to place on record the lies that the BJP peddles. Supreme Court committee. Don't you dare hide behind that committee, because that committee has been set up with terms of reference very, very clear. Review of regulatory framework, 82 times overvaluation, 38 shell companies, 20,000 crore worth of Benami money flowing into the Adani group. These are things that you have to probe, that your agencies have to probe, but you have no time to send your agencies there because he happens to be the Prime Minister.
Shazia ji, I'll come to you. Shazia ji, I'll come to you. Shazia ji, I'll come to you.
Shazia, I know you have lost the debate.
Supriya ji, make your substantial argument.
You have lost the debate.
Please make your substantial argument. Yes.
So my only substantial argument is that it's unprecedented that the ruling benches is blocking parliamentary proceedings because they want to protect Gautam Adani. 2 hours 40 minutes. Mr. Narendra Modi speaks in both houses without uttering the A of Adani. He was asked direct questions. What was your role as far as the foreign policy is concerned? How many trips did Gautam Adani come on? Don't you want to know where is the 20,000 crore Benami money flowing in for through offshore funds, which are all shell companies? How can they not want to know? Simple suggestion that I want to make in 10 seconds. Mr. Adani is a leading monopoly in ports, airports, food, agriculture, renewable energy, cement, defense and all of that. Does the government of India not even want to probe the allegations against him? Because that makes you not just brazen, that makes you complicit in his corruption. It really does, all the way.
There is a demand for the joint parliamentary committee that has been made repeatedly by the opposition parties, and I have asked this question earlier as well. The terms of reference of the Supreme Court panel which is looking in this issue is rather very broad. They're looking at regulatory measures and what can be done in the future to avoid instances like these. There is an argument in law that nothing stops the present government or the ruling dispensation from having a parallel inquiry. And why is the government not open to that idea? Is that complicity? The Congress party asks you.
Yeah, so my answer to that is, why don't they start with Ashok Gehlot by him cancelling the venture they have with Adani, the understanding they have and the project.
Just to clap, just to applaud. Is that what you're here for in the government?
Why don't you look into what went into the corruption that Ashok Gehlot indulged in?
You are so morally bankrupt.
Why don't you start with Pinarayi Vijayan and the
Shazia ji, I ask these questions in the larger public interest, and I can pose them. Shazia ji, once again, I ask these questions. I will not be caught in this crossfire. Shazia ji, I ask these questions in the public interest. If there are certain questions that Ashok Gehlot or the Congress party needs to answer, I will take that to the Congress party. The question right now I ask to the BJP is rather different in nature. Shazia ji.
No, stop screaming. Anusha, I think you're taking the cue from Supriya and you're also screaming. Please do not.
Nobody's screaming at you, Shazia ji. Please go ahead.
I will not be screamed at, remember.
Nobody's screaming at you. Please go ahead, ma'am.
Supreme Court is looking at the regulatory issues vis-a-vis this. If there are criminal charges, they'll be taken up. But there are none whatsoever. And just because the Congress party has accused before, would we believe whatever Congress party does? Because it is Congress party.
Look at their moral bankruptcy. You are morally bankrupt.
What stops them from going ahead if they have such problems with Adani? What stops them in Rajasthan itself from cancelling it? And also showing us as to what led to that agreement.
Supriya ji, one second.
What stops them?
Supriya ji, the government has a view that till the Supreme Court panel comes out with a report, they do not want to take any action. They want to wait for that Supreme Court finding reports to really come out and then decide whether they want to take any action or not. Shazia Almi is making a point that this particular group and entity that you're talking about, the Adani Group and the man, has investments across the country, including some Congress-ruled states. And when that particular business house can do business in the Congress-ruled states and there is no problem about that, why are you putting BJP in a corner simply because a group and their entity has done some kind of, work or some kind of ill doings which are still under investigation?
Good question, pertinent question. I will answer that point by point. This shows the moral bankruptcy of the BJP. You are in government at the center. Central agencies are under you. You do not want to probe Mr. Adani. I want to simply point out, in July 2021, Nirmala Sitharaman told Parliament that Mr. Adani has some probe going on. What happened to that probe? Because as finance minister, she should inform people. Forget about that. You know why we tell them why they are morally bankrupt? They've been in power for 9 years. An allegation has come. They're going to point out to state governments. You cannot point out to state governments. I will tell you why. Because finance ministry and Niti Aayog gave written objections saying Mr. Adani or no person should be given more than one airport, and especially not without experience. Why did they go ahead and give Mr. Adani 6 airports? Why did they change rules? Why did they change rules for SEZs? Why did they change rules for ports? What are you talking about? You sit here in the center, dislevel the playing field, distort the level playing field, and you want us to act. We had a tender process which was, Shazia, you can keep barking. That's not how debates are done, Shazia. Shazia, don't bark. Please don't bark, Shazia. This is not how
I request all the panelists to maintain the dignity and decorum of language, of demeanor and debate. I'm going to take a pause here. Varun Singh, coming to you. Varun, your credentials as a political analyst were questioned on the broadcast. So I guess you must respond to that. I'm cutting across to Varun. I think we need to take a moment here. Varun, do you think there can be any logical settlement to this debate? Because on one side you have the opposition saying give us a JPC. The government is saying we want to wait for the Supreme Court report to really come out. And, contrived with that is this entire narrative that, look, the central agencies are being misused. Do you see this as the larger issue framing by the opposition parties? More importantly, will it stick ahead of the 2024 elections?
Firstly, thank you for standing for me. And secondly, my credential being questioned, I would just say a simple thing. Supreme Court formed a committee to look into the allegations made by a report by a foreign agency against Adani. One person in the committee is named Nandan Nilankani. He is a respected personality. He is someone whom everyone in India adores because he came up with Aadhaar. And also, he was a candidate of the Congress party for the Lok Sabha elections, the previous Lok Sabha elections. Does it change anything for the Supreme Court committee? No, because, we fail to understand a simple thing. All these political parties, Ms. Shrinet is talking, is shouting loud that why aren't actions being taken Adani? She has painted Adani as the biggest thief in this world. But at that same time, she cannot answer a simple thing. Why are her party or why are her governments working with Adani? Why can't they deny or why can't they cancel those tenders, those contracts that were given to Adani if they are corrupt, if they are wrong? Allegations are being proved. And one good thing, we always talk about why there should be parallel investigations. When Supreme Court has formed an committee which is going to look into the allegations
Varun, that happened during the
Adani.
2G case. That happened during the 2G case.
Absolutely. That is what I'm trying to say. That is what I'm trying to say. That is what I'm trying to say. Why do you want to waste so much of energy? There are two stalwarts who know everything, who know the in and out, how SEBI works, what are the frameworks. Why do you
intellectually and morally bankrupt
Arvind Kumar Jain
coming from someone who doesn't even know ED doesn't belong to Home Ministry but Ministry of Finance. Thank you.
Dumber than you sound. I'm going to tell you.
No personal comments here, please. Arvind Kumar Jain ji. Arvind Kumar Jain, please. Arvind Kumar Jain. Arvind ji, I often debate on primetime shows.
She doesn't even know that much.
I often debate on primetime shows how central agencies have become a punching bag for the political parties. Whether when it was the Congress party in power, the BJP would make similar allegations and now the roles have reversed. And I think lost in this political noise is also the key concern for a common citizen of this country, that our agencies should be far more independent from the political processes. Arvind ji.
Yes, agencies should be, in my opinion, personal opinion, agencies should be neutral. Agencies have been misused, allegations have been made. I don't know how far the allegations are correct. I have been hearing about connections of Mr. Dhirubhai Ambani with the Gandhi family right from my childhood. So what about those allegations? It is true that what other panelists are saying that Adani is doing investments, making huge investments in West Bengal, in Rajasthan, all the states they want investments. UP is also asking for investments. They have got signed MOUs for worth 35.8 lakh crores. If Adani has also done it, there is nothing wrong in it. If he commits some wrong, naturally country will take care of it. And these allegations have always been there that certain party in power has been favoring industrialists, and this will keep on going. And it will not stop.
As I wrap the debate, I'm coming to you, Supriya ji. I'm coming to you. As I wrap the debate, I want to go to Shazia and Supriya ji both, and I want to talk to you both about this. Supriya ji, if your leader has done no wrong, and if the opposition parties have to assert this issue on the floor of the House, my direct question to you is that let's take your argument on the face value that institutions have been emasculated for the sake of the argument to get a conviction for Rahul Gandhi and to disqualify him. That's what the Congress party is saying. Why aren't you going to a court of law to get this change? Because you are also trying to take advantage of a certain situation and get political benefit out of it. And you have no faith in the institutions of democracy. I'm adding that because that argument was made by the BJP today on the broadcast as well. Please respond to that.
No, I will answer your question, but I will first place two facts on the table. People who are claiming about investments of Adani in Congress ruled states, well, we had a fair bidding process. They were the L1 bidder. We did not send ED behind people whose cases landed in NCLT and then handed over those assets to Mr. Adani. I also want to say, why did Mr. Adani was he made to skip the UP Investor Summit? Because he was investor number one. He did not turn up. Why did UP cancel 5,800 crore worth of power projects? Because there was something shady about Adani. And Mr. Yogi went ahead and did that. Of course, that happened because of the tussle between Mr. Shah and Mr. Yogi and the political story there. I don't want to espouse, but this is what happened. People who are talking about his investment credentials also need to know that. As far as your question for the nth time is concerned, I will only say what I said earlier because unlike others, I neither change my ideology nor my stand. It is for us and our legal team, and you will grant us that we have some of the best legal brains in this country. We will decide when, which court, and what will we say. Not the BJP, not a television show. Thank you.
Shazia Almi, please go ahead.
Well, the very fact that they're unwilling to go to court to take this matter up not just shows that they have not much for their speak for themselves in terms of solid legal defense and solid ground, but also that they have no faith in the Indian democratic processes, something they have been talking and crying about all over. So whether it's saying thank you to Germany for their comment on India.
Shazia, you should come more prepared next time.
Supriya ji, please, no personal comments, please. I'm requesting you. I'm requesting you, please. Shazia ji, please.
I feel sorry for her.
No personal comments, please. Shazia ji, please go ahead.
It just goes to show the complete, forget bankruptcy, the complete dearth of anything remotely intelligent or moral about the party and its leadership. I think it's a matter of great shame that they bring down India at any given opportunity, whether it's Indian businessmen in India, Indian institutions, whether it's our courts, whether it's our electoral machinery, or our sovereignty.
राष्ट्र के नाम संदेश नहीं था, 30 सेकंड का आंसर था.
All right. I don't think this debate is any time over. And more importantly, this is the narrative that we are likely to witness ahead of 2024. Shazia Almi ji, Supriya Shrineth, we also had Varun Singh and Arvind Kumar Jain. Thank you all for joining us on the broadcast and being a part of the show. Well, ahead of the 2024, there will be more fireworks. Of course, the Supreme Court will have a very important role to play. But what the Union Home Minister said at the Rising India Summit is also an important statement that will frame the narrative in the times to come. Well, today was day 2 of Network 18's Rising India Summit, honoring the extraordinary contribution made by the so-called ordinary people who have made an incredible social impact. Today's event saw several esteemed personalities from politics, sports, entertainment and social media. Here's an excerpt from the show today. Have a look.
In our country, we have effective government. And we have seen in last few months how effectively our External Affairs Minister has reflected on those issues in public domain, in the country and outside. But those so engaged need to look within and revisit their thoughts. But what is painful, worrisome, and concerning that some amongst us are engaged in thoughtless orchestration of sinister campaign to taint and tarnish our democratic institutions. We find sinister forces within and without, functional with pernicious agenda to sully and downsize our growth trajectory, our democratic institutions, and run down our success. You will not find a parallel in the world where people holding positions of power would go to other country, other geographical locales to run down their own country. We all need to reflect on this. We need to be cognizant of virtual intense warfare against India's integrity by well-orchestrated global machinery functioning within and outside the country. One can see an entire ecosystem aimed at handicapping our growth, attacking India's legitimacy as nation-state, its constitutional institutions, including the parliament, is becoming a favorite pastime, even of some of us. I am sure thinking minds in the country will be alive and take all steps to contain and combat such pernicious tendency. An intense assault on India's values, integrity and institutions is emanating from well-maintained incubators. I wouldn't say much, but I'll call upon the media. Look at South Asia studies in an Ivy League university. This is being funded by our billionaires. Even the government in 2008 funded it. And the same is also being done by our northern neighbor. But look at their activities with respect to our nation and with respect to that nation. It's a cause of concern and worry. Should we be funding those whose only agenda is to thoughtlessly, in a designed manner, run down this nation? I am sure my friends in journalism, and I am sure I am their friend, so are they mine, will reflect on this, engage in due diligence, and let the people of this country know all about this. This ecosystem to combat India's growth trajectory must not be allowed to go unnoticed. And that can happen only when we react. Such orchestrated narratives are disseminated. And this is, I seek pardon of the journalistic fraternity. Orchestration emanating in a sinister manner with pernicious design is put in high decibel and disseminated by media and intelligentsia. The activities of Goebbels pale into insignificance.
चुनाव की ओर देखते हैं। कुछ प्रदेश के चुनाव इस साल जो हैं बड़े चुनाव हैं, कर्नाटका, मध्य प्रदेश, राजस्थान, छत्तीसगढ़, और ये एक तरीके से 2024 के पहले एक सेमीफाइनल मैच है। तो आप कर्नाटका के चुनाव को कैसे देखते हैं? आज क्या लगता है आपको, वहाँ पर स्थिति क्या है? कितनी सीटें देते हैं आप? ये सवाल मैं हर बार आपसे पहले पूछता हूँ।
देखिए, मैं कर्नाटक 9 दिन लगाया हूँ, चुनाव की घोषणा की पहले आज ही हुई है, और करीब करीब कर्नाटक के जो 5 क्षेत्र है, मुंबई कर्नाटक, कल्याण कर्नाटक, मैसूर, बेंगलुरु, इस तरह के जो 5 क्षेत्र है, 5 क्षेत्र में मैं जाकर आया हूं और 9 दिन तक डिटेल दौरा किया है। मैं आपको पक्का असेसमेंट कर रहा हूं कि हम निश्चित रूप से हाफवे मार्क से काफी आगे रहेंगे। पूर्ण बहुमत की भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार बनने जा रही है।
1985 में रामकृष्ण हेगड़े जी के बाद कभी दोबारा रिपीट नहीं हुई है सरकार, इसके बाद भी आपको इतना भरोसा है?
30 साल के बाद 30 साल तक कभी भी पूर्ण बहुमत की सरकार नहीं आई थी। कई सालों से पूर्ण बहुमत की सरकार रिपीट भी नहीं हुई थी 77 के बाद। ये दोनों मोदी जी के समय में हुआ, ये भी हो जाएगा, आप चिंता मत करिए।
एक अजीब सी चीज देखी कर्नाटका में, मुख्यमंत्री बोमई हैं और चेहरा येडियुरप्पा। प्रधानमंत्री ने भी उनका हाथ पकड़ा और उनका जो है उनको प्रोत्साहन दिया जब वो गए थे वहाँ पे। तो इसको आप कैसे देखते हैं? किसके चेहरे के अंडर चुनाव लड़ रहे हैं? क्या बोमई वापस अगर आप जीतेंगे तो मुख्यमंत्री बनेंगे?
एक बात समझ लीजिए, येदियुरप्पा जी हमारे वरिष्ठ नेता है, केंद्रीय पार्लियामेंट्री बोर्ड के मेंबर है, चुनाव समिति के मेंबर हैं, और भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने उनकी वरिष्ठता को कभी क्वेश्चन नहीं किया। हम ऐसी पार्टी नहीं है कि जो पावर पर नहीं है उसको दरकिनार कर देते हैं। हमारे यहाँ जो वरिष्ठ नेता होता है उनका सम्मान पावर में हो या न हो, सम्मान होता है। और आज भी मैं कह रहा हूं सबके सामने कि येदियुरप्पा जी बहुत बड़े आकर्षण के साथ स्टार कैंपेनर की भूमिका कर्नाटक के अंदर निभाएंगे, और उन्होंने वो कर्नाटक असेंबली में भी स्पष्ट कर दिया है।
जी, तो अगर जीत कर वापस आएंगे तो बोमई जी वापस मुख्यमंत्री बनेंगे?
देखिए, वो तो पार्टी तय करेगी। अभी पार्टी में इस प्रकार की कोई चर्चा नहीं हुई है, पर बोमई जी हमारे मुख्यमंत्री है, बहुत अच्छा काम किया है और अच्छे से चला रहे हैं। और येदियुरप्पा जी और बोमई के कालखंड के अंदर जो कुछ भी कर्नाटक में डेवलपमेंट के काम हुए, इसके आधार पर हम फिर से निश्चित रूप से चुनकर आएंगे। और कर्नाटक की जनता डबल इंजन सरकार चाहती है। मोदी जी की योजनाओं को, मोदी जी के कार्यक्रमों को और मोदी जी के विजन को नीचे इंप्लीमेंट करे, इस प्रकार की समान विचारसरणी वाली सरकार कर्नाटक की जनता चाहती है, और परिणाम भी इसी प्रकार के आए।
जेडीएस ने करीब 150 लोगों की लिस्ट जारी कर दी है, कांग्रेस ने भी करीब 125 कैंडिडेट घोषित कर दिए हैं। आप लोगों ने अभी तक कोई लिस्ट जारी नहीं की, तो कहीं ना कहीं कोई चौंकाने वाली कोई
नहीं, चौंकाने वाला कुछ नहीं होता। हमारे यहाँ एक पद्धति तय है, जिले को सुनते हैं, फिर प्रदेश में इस पर चर्चा होता है, फिर यहाँ पर आता है और केंद्रीय पार्लियामेंट्री बोर्ड निर्णय करता है। वहाँ परिवारों को सुनना है, 5 परिवार इकट्ठा बैठ जाते, और जेडीएस में तो 5 भी नहीं बैठना, एक ही परिवार बैठ जाए तो सारे फैसले हो जाते देवगौड़ा जी का, और यहाँ 3-4 परिवार बैठ जाए तो फैसला तो उनके लिए बड़ा सरल है। हमारे यहाँ लाखों कार्यकर्ताओं से चरणबद्ध चर्चा करनी होती है तो थोड़ी देर लगती है भैया, हम थोड़े स्लो भी है।
जेडीएस की बात करी तो लोगों का यह भी कहना है कि जेडीएस जो है वो भारतीय जनता पार्टी की बी टीम है, इसको आप कैसे देखते हैं?
देखिए, फिर से एक बार आप स्टडी करे बगैर का सवाल कर रहे हैं। गत चुनाव में हम सबसे ज्यादा सीटों के साथ 1 नंबर की पार्टी बने थे। हमारी 104 सीटें थी, जेडीएस की 34 सीटें थी, और फिर जेडीएस कांग्रेस की गोदी में सत्ता के लिए बैठ गई और दोनों ने सरकार बनाई। अब बताइए जेडीएस किसकी बी टीम है? जरा बताइए ना जनता को।
ये जो अपशब्द राहुल जी ने मोदी जी के लिए कहे, आपकी पार्टी इसको एक एंटी ओबीसी कलर भी देने की कोशिश कर रही है, ऐसा क्यों?
देखिए, उन्होंने मोदी जी को नहीं कहा है। पूरा भाषण आप सुन लीजिए
जी,
और मेरे इंटरव्यू के पहले चलाकर भी दिखाइएगा तो लोग भी सुने। उन्होंने मोदी समाज मतलब तेली समाज में सभी लोग क्यों चोर होते हैं ऐसा एग्जैक्ट नहीं कहा। उन्होंने ये कहा कि सारे चोरों का सरनेम मोदी क्यों होता है, ये कहा है।
जी।
तो वो उन्होंने ओबीसी समाज का ही जानबूझकर अपमान किया है। इसमें पार्टी के बनाने का सवाल नहीं है, उन्होंने बोला ही ऐसा है। और जो महाशय कोर्ट में गई इसके खिलाफ, स्टेटमेंट के खिलाफ, उनका कंटेंशन भी वही है और जजमेंट का सार भी वही है।
आगे ये भी कह रहे हैं कि मैं कोई सावरकर नहीं हूं जो माफी मांगू, गांधी माफी नहीं मांगते। इसको आप कैसे देखते हैं?
देखिए, उनको माफी नहीं मांगनी है तो बेल भी नहीं जमा कराना था। महात्मा गांधी ने किया था एक बार, अंग्रेजों ने उनको सजा करी तो कि मैं पेनल्टी नहीं भरूंगा, माफी नहीं मांगूंगा, पेनल्टी नहीं भरूंगा, दंड भी नहीं भरूंगा, सब कर दिया। तो इन्होंने भी करना चाहिए था। मेरी जानकारी जो है 15,000 रुपए का मुचरका भरकर वो बेल लिए हैं
जी।
और दूसरा, माफी न मांगनी हो तो न मांगे, मगर सावरकर जी के लिए इस प्रकार के शब्द नहीं करने चाहिए। मैं इतना कह सकता हूं कि इस देश के लिए ज्यादा से ज्यादा यातनाएं सहने वाले व्यक्तियों में से एक वीर सावरकर है। पूरे आजादी के संग्राम के अंदर एक ही व्यक्ति ऐसी है जिसको एक साथ 2 जन्म टिप की सजाएं हुई
जी।
ऐसे वीर हुतात्मा के लिए आज इस प्रकार के शब्द प्रयोग करना, और शायद हम पर उनको भरोसा ना हो, वो अपनी दादी के भाषण सावरकर जी के लिए पढ़ ले कि इंदिरा जी क्या कहती थी।